All right, Calculus BC. We've covered all 10 of the convergence and divergence tests. What I've got for you for today is a review worksheet. In fact, there's a couple review worksheets. Let me show you the other one first. A couple years ago, I just pulled these from your textbook. So this is in there as well on day, I think we're up to day, well, whatever day this is on. I can't remember now. Lots of days going on in my mind here. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Day 7, okay? So in the first 6 days, we had time to go over the different convergence and divergence tests. Day 7, we're reviewing. On day 8, there'll be a quiz. What I'm going to do is, initially I thought we would do a quiz in my math lab. However, it's easier to track your completion and all if I port those into Canvas. So that's going to be in Canvas, probably multiple choice, maybe short answer, but probably multiple choice format. So you'll see those. So that'll be day 8. It is due that day. I'm trying to give lots of generous windows as far as people having access to things. But then I find people are taking advantage of that. So I'm probably only going to have it available for one day, and it needs to be done that day. And if you don't have it done that day, I'm starting to feel sadness and drama. I'm trying to be lenient and patient and loving and careful and all that school appropriate stuff. But it is getting a little frustrating with some students who still aren't quite there yet. This is what we have. This is what we have to do. Okay? So, reality check. I'm trying to get you ready for college next year, and we're stuck at home doing it remotely. So, new change of setting. Let's make this the best, but you have to do something. And if I'm not talking to you, you've been doing all things along as you go. Yay! You know I'm not talking to you. It's always going to be the exceptions that always make your teachers just a little cranky because you think you can't keep up. And unless we know reason why, oh, the internet went down, oh, a tree smashed through my router at home, whatever, I can't really help you. So we gotta know that. So please get a message out to me if you're having some difficulty. Let's fix that. But if you're just sitting around doing nothing, I'm not sure what else to really tell you. Getting a little cranked up here if you can't tell. Okay? So please do something and network with your friends if you know who I might be talking to, that it's time for them to do something. So it really does take a village. Oh, I just hate that, you know. There are 14 problems here. What I'm going to do is I posted the answer key, but this has been a favorite day of mine had we been working together because we would be discussing which tests would apply. Okay, because I think that's the hardest part is really thinking about what would work. Okay, so I'm going to find some easy ones, and we'll kind of go from there. Well, number 1 would be a good one. I hope we all recognize that as 1 over n to some power there. Wait, isn't that the P-series test? Okay, so what I'm going to do is highlight each of these as we go and let you complete the work. This answer key from the work is all listed there, so you're still going to work on that, and then each of these. So really, this intended to be a discussion kind of worksheet, but it's not going to work out for that. So we'll just kind of go through the ones that I see as a chance to, and then you can practice each of those tests. So I'm naming the test for you, which is the hard challenge. Okay. Ooh, gosh, I see a hot mess to the nth power. I hope you would pick that out as a root test, and that would be correct. Okay? This one is a good one to talk about next. Well, if I take the limit of this term, what would you get? Maybe the nth term test would be a good one for this one, right? And remember, nth term test is only going to tell you one thing. It's either convergence or divergence. I'll let you think about that one. We could do the root test here. But then we'd end up taking what? The nth term test as well, right? So nth term test, I think, is going to be our guide. What does that look like? Well, if I were to plug in n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3, it looks like eventually we'd have some cancel of some of those terms, right? It would collapse or telescope, hence the name telescoping. Okay? n to the third over n to the third plus 6. There's alternating series, that could work, but I think one of the things that we could see is alternating series is going to be a test for convergence, right? So if we take the limit of the n to the third over n to the third plus 6 part, take away that negative sign, I'll let you find what your final conclusion is, but that turns out to be an nth term test. Nth term test, okay? This is the nth, there it is, nth term test. Gosh, that looks like a geometric, right? Because I've got to multiply, multiply, multiply from term to term to term. This is a geometric series. So geometric test would be a chance to use that. 1 over log of n to the fourth, 1 over n. As strange as that looks, might be able to do the ratio test, huh? Could you take the integral of that? Ooh. I'm going to try the integral test. Okay? And as you can see, I would hope this would be a much more interesting class conversation than me just kind of trying to give you hints on things to do here. This is going to be one of the comparison tests. Okay? I'll just give you that. In fact, you're going to probably want to try the direct comparison test, because if you compare that with 1 over square root of n, p series much, yeah. So direct comparison test, and that'll work out. So try that one. This has 5 to the n and n squared and 3 to the n. I remember there was a test that worked out well with you had those, and n plus 1. I think that's going to be the ratio test, right? Same thing here. Remember, the ratio test worked well with power and factorial problems, so ratio test would be a good one here. Wonder which one of these we haven't done yet. If you think of that, we could rewrite that as e to the third, all that to the n over n, all that to the n, so e to the third over n to the... let's try the root test on that, because it's easy to take the nth root in that. This looks like what? This one, remember, if we try to use the limit test, I would be dividing by another 1 over n there to try that. So limit test. Try that one, limit comparison. Remember, we've got direct comparison where you're comparing those two, and then the limit where you're taking the ratio of limits, and 1 over n would diverge. So think about how that might work. And then this clearly is an alternating series. This one was too, but when we took away that -1 thing, here the nth term would go to 0, so it's not an nth term test. It's not going to diverge. It might converge with alternating series. Okay, so like I said, had we been in class, this would have been a good discussion, I think, to kind of brainstorm the ones that would work. Yes, there's definitely times when more than one test would work, and you would maybe get down one way and it'd be easier to find it another way, that kind of thing. But we wanted to get practice on all of those. Now that you've got these each classified, all 14 of these problems, try using each of those tests that we named. And I've posted the answer key on Canvas for you to check your work to see if that all matches up. And then once you've got that, there's even some more, and this is another worksheet that's available on Canvas too. So you've got those as opportunity to practice. Quiz on Wednesday, and it will be on Wednesday. It'll be available for the whole day, but it'll be due at the end of Wednesday. Let's make sure that we're all doing that. I was extending deadlines for access, and that didn't work out because then people start, oh, well, it's not due Wednesday. Yes, it's still due Wednesday. So it's going to be available first thing Wednesday morning up until midnight Wednesday. That way we can go over the quiz and be turning around and take the test here pretty soon. All right, after that. So I hope you're having a great one. And please tell your friends to join in on the fun. We don't want to leave them behind. You got to keep up. You got to keep up. All right, have a great one, and I will talk to you soon.